Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to go back to basics and talk about types of paper and what to print inserts and dashboards and all that stuff on. I get this question so often asked to me, like on Instagram or in the comments on my YouTube videos, just asking like what type of paper I use. And I kind of like forget that sometimes the basics are like the most important thing. So I'm going to break it down all for you guys. I've brought out a few different types of paper, so we'll go through each of those, going from kind of the regular insert type papers to thicker paper for dashboards and all that type of stuff, and kind of specialty papers at the back. So if you want to learn about papers, keep on watching. So the first category of paper, I would describe these as more of your, regular printer paper. And you guys might know that there's different pounds of paper, and that just means the weight of the paper. And people always ask, what type of paper you use and what weight do you use and blah, 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 blah. You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't make a huge difference, I gotta say. Like if you just have regular 20-pound copy paper, which is this one right here, like it's totally fine. I literally print about, I would say 98% of my inserts on this type of paper. It's just the regular paper that comes out of your printer, or, when you're at the office and, you print stuff from the copier or whatever, it's usually 20-pound paper. Now, I have tried different brands, and for typical printing, I'm not fussed about the type of paper or the brand. But in trying different kinds, like I do find that I prefer the HP printer paper just because I like the whiteness of it. It's usually very bright, and yeah, and I think it's a great deal and great value. By the way, I'll link everything down below just in case you're wondering exactly what type I get. So I'll list a couple of the copy paper options below. If you're not that fussed about paper quality, paper inserts, and I'm not saying that copy paper is not good quality. I'm just saying if you're not fussed, literally any brand will do. Okay, so I'll list a couple down below. And for me, when I try different types now, and if I know a specific weight that I want to get or whatever, I'll go to HP, because in trying different types of paper, I do like the HP the best. So from the 20-pound paper, if I go to the extreme opposite end of what I would print on, you have on the other end 32-pound paper. And that's as high as I would go for inserts. Like 32-pound paper is already very, very thick. And I typically wouldn't even print like regular inserts. Like I wouldn't fill up a whole planner with 32-pound paper just because I think it's too thick. So, I mean, it's obviously hard to give you reference, through a video, but I don't know if you can tell, like, this is fairly thick. It's very, very smooth. Like, when they say premium paper, like, I really do believe that it is premium paper. Like, it just feels so smooth. It's very bright, whereas this is just some sort of regular copy paper. I can't even remember the brand, but you can see that they're not the same whiteness, right? And I'll also link some options in the HP for the 20-pound copy paper if you do like it bright white and you want something a bit whiter than this. Okay, so 32-pound is the highest I would go. For me, I would typically use this for printing dashboards. And at the end, I will show you my planner and we can flip through it, and I'll show you, the differences in the paper that I've used for various things throughout the planner. So if you want to skip to that, I'll link down the timestamp here just directly to there. But if you want to listen and learn about the different types of paper, keep watching. Okay. So yes, I would not go higher than 32-pound, okay? So this is very premium paper. It's very thick. If you like a chunky planner, this will chunk up your planner very fast, and you won't be able to fit as much as you would like in here, so I do not recommend. If you're somebody who only uses, you know, a couple inserts or whatever, and you like to keep your planner very lean but very, very sturdy, maybe you could go with this. For me, I use this for dashboards, and I use this for inserts that I turn to frequently. So for example, if you have a yearly overview insert and you are constantly flipping to it back and forth and you don't want it to get crumpled up, then print it on this. Okay, so that's 32, and that's about the 2 spectrums. I wouldn't go any heavier than this. Okay, and so in between those two, you also have 24-pound and 28-pound paper, and I'll link options down below as well. So if you want something kind of in between, then go for one of those two. If you want something just a teeny bit more premium than the 20-pound, so it's not feeling so plain, I guess, you could go for 24-pound. If you don't want something so thick, but you want it fairly premium, go down to 28-pound. Okay, then the other type of paper that I recently got, and actually this was recommended by Allie, or Philo Planner on Instagram, and she was talking about using eco paper, which is basically paper that's, you know, thinner than your copy paper. So this is the HP 18-pound paper. This one. Again, I'll link everything down below, but just in case you want to see it. And it's interesting. It's smooth, and I wonder if the difference between this 20-pound and this 18 is because this is not HP 20-pound. I just found everything with HP, their paper is just smoother, it's more premium, it's nicer. So this is definitely, like, you can tell it's definitely thinner than 20, but it's not like, it's definitely not Tomoe River paper thin, okay? And I will show you the Tomoe River paper after as well, but it's nowhere near Tomoe River paper, okay? And it doesn't crinkle like Tomoe River paper, but it is a bit thinner than the 20-pound paper. And for me, I decided to start trying this out because I have been really stuffing my planners. I was like going from like super sleek, super thin to like super chunky, and so I wanted to try this out. The only thing I'm not sure how this will handle is if you do like to slit your inserts, like cut the hole, like the little slit on the holes to rip it in and out easily. The thing with this is the thinner your paper gets, the harder it will be in terms of like keeping it stuck in your planner, because like the little slits will, you know, start to bend over. Like with Tomoe River paper, you can't really do the slits because it'll just not go back into the planner rings anymore. So I don't know how that will work, because when my planner does get stuffed, the 20-pound paper already struggles a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe this is something that's better for if you just want a slim profile and you don't keep too many papers. But I do really like the feel of this, and you can also tell that like the HP, I hope you can tell, it's just whiter. It's so bright. And they talk about the brightness on the package as well. Like this is 92%. Okay, so that's what you would print, you know, 98% of your inserts on is just one of these regular papers. Paper can get quite expensive, especially if you're printing a lot and you're somebody who, you know, not that I want to promote printing a lot because it's not great for the environment, but yeah, if you're printing a lot, like paper does really add up, and, you know, we don't want to waste paper and all that stuff. But yeah, so this is obviously a lot more expensive than something like eco paper, so you might want to consider that as well. But you can check out all the prices below if you like. So the next type of paper is cardstock, and cardstock is like it sounds, it's for making cards. And with cardstock, I would not go higher than 65-pound cardstock, or else I find it starts to jam your printer. So you got to be really careful, and depending on the printer you have, you can check to see how much weight it can accommodate. For me, I found 65 is about the upper limit, and I just have a few different types here. Like I think I got this one just from Walmart, and it's just like a bright white 65-pound paper. I will give another comparison against just the copy paper because I feel like that's a good reference point. So again, it's hard to tell, but like the cardstock is hard. It's 65 pound, it's heavy, right? Like you really only want to be printing dashboards on this. You don't want to be printing actual like inserts unless you want a really thick planner. But yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this because like you see it's like it's kind of off-white. But it's not bad. Now it feels a little bit scratchy, so not as smooth. See how it's like not even close to as white as just like the regular 20-pound paper, and this is supposed to be 96% white. So I don't know why it says that, but you know what? For dashboards, sometimes in your planner you might want something that doesn't look exactly the same color. You might want some other colors inside your planner, right? Just to add a little bit of oomph, and it's decor. So I don't mind too much, but I mean, it's not like super premium or anything, but it does the job and I use it often. So I don't mind. So that's that one. Then I have another kind from Walmart. This is just this, basically the same thing, but in this color. And the one that is actually my favorite that I use the most is this pack. I think I got it from Michael's. Oh, focus. I think I got it from Michael's. I'll have to look for it and try to link it for you guys, but it's basically a pack of these neutral colors, like your browns, your tans, the same kind of yellowy paper that I just showed you in this pack, but you get like 4 different colors, which is amazing. And this is also 65-pound paper. Again, the cardstock, like it is kind of that rough, a little bit rough, kind of like that one. But they're not very expensive, and I love it for printing dashboards and just adding a little bit of neutral color to my planner. Yeah, that's cardstock. It's pretty straightforward. I think the main thing is just the weight and making sure that you don't go too thick because it really does jam your planner. Okay. Okay, and lastly, I wanted to talk about some specialty type papers, I guess I would classify them as, and it's really your Vellum, your acetate, and like Tomoe River type paper. Okay, so Vellum, I'm sure you guys have seen Vellum. It's kind of like this thin frosty paper, and people love to print dashboards on it. I mean, you can print some inserts on it if you want. Like I see like yearly overviews printed on this, and it makes it look, you know, really nice. Add something a little bit different, a little different texture in your planner, and I really do love that look, and so I use Vellum a lot. Now my favorite Vellum is this Doris Vellum. I'll try to link it down below, but I haven't been able to find it recently, and it's made me really sad. I got this a long time ago. You can see I'm down to the last few pages, so it does make me a little bit sad. But I got this other brand, and for Vellum too, I should mention that I also use 65-pound Vellum. Now, you might think, oh, this is 65 pounds, but the cardstock we use was 65. They're not the same. When you talk about this type of like the Vellum weight and the cardstock weight, they're not the same thing. So don't think that just because they sound like the same weight, it's the same thickness. It's not, right? Obviously. So this 65-pound is it feels very quality, I would say. Like, you know, it's not like tracing paper thin, but it's still see-through. It just feels really sturdy. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, this is my very favorite Vellum. And so because I couldn't find it anymore, I just ordered a different kind off Amazon. And this one is also 65 pounds. And you know what? This is like my first time actually unboxing it. And it's actually really nice, to be honest. Wow. Yeah, it's actually really nice and very similar. So I will link both of these down below. This is probably my favorite type of specialty paper. If you were to ask me to choose something besides, you know, printing on regular paper, I love Vellum. I would choose this over all the other stuff because it just really adds a nice texture and something different to your planner. So then the other one is acetate, and acetate is really just like a really thin plastic. It's essentially like what I get is just the overhead projector paper. Remember, like, I'm dating myself, but remember overhead projectors? Well, yeah, depending on how old you are, you might not remember them. But yeah, so I just bought that, and you can print on it and, you know, print dashboards or whatever again, and then stick it in your planner. I do like this, you know, with certain dashboards and stuff like that, it's nice to have it see-through. I do find them a little bit staticky. That's probably because it's overhead projector. But yeah, it does now add a nice little touch, but I have to admit I don't use this as often. What might be nice is to use these as like really thin dividers. If you have a Cricut, you could create dividers using acetate, and then it would be like a clear divider, which would be kind of cool. But I don't use them that much. I think this one's called OHP or something, and they have laser and inkjet version. Again, I'll link it down below. So that's that. And the last type of paper, I mean, you guys all know, is Tomoe River paper. I just bought this A3 size just because I thought value for money, I could get the most out of it. A lot of people do find problems printing with their printer. For those of you who don't know, this is just very thin, crinkly paper. It's the same type of paper that's in Hobonichi planners and what they're known for, but it's this one is white. Yeah, so it's white. It's not the cream one, but you can get the cream one as well. You can get them in like US letter size. And it's just that really almost like, it's like tracing paper thin. It's very crinkly. It's fountain pen friendly. It's great paper. I don't love it in a ring planner and printing on it because, again, I slit my inserts so it makes it too thin. And I do find issues printing with it a lot of the time. I have to do one at a time. And it's just such a pain in the butt. So I don't use this that often. I think it's much better in a bound notebook where, like, you know, there's a spine and it's tight and it's not gonna like fall out, and I don't know. I don't love it as much. And it's quite expensive, so unless you really love it, you know that it's gonna work in your ring planner, I probably wouldn't suggest that. So that's the different types of planner. And now I'm just gonna go grab my planner and I'll just show you how I use these types of papers. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you some examples. And the first one is obviously just the 20-pound copy paper. I literally, like 90%, like, you know, all my weeklies, my dailies, all my regular inserts are just printed on that 20-pound copy paper. So you can see that, like, literally the majority of my planner is in this paper. And like, I don't know, I just don't mind. Like, I'm not fussed about it. It works. When you do the slit, it pulls out perfectly well. It goes back in relatively well. You can see that my planner is pretty stuffed. And I'll also link a flip of this I did as part of the setup. I'll link it here, where I flip through the planner and stuff if you want to see more. But anyways, so yeah, the majority of the planner is in that 20-pound copy paper. I don't worry about it. I print, you know, quite a lot. Not just for my planner, but obviously for the shop, for testing inserts and everything. So I just use 20-pound copy paper. I don't fuss about it. Then the next one I will show you is the 32-pound HP paper, and it's bright white. So I use that for dashboards. You can tell it's whiter. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, I showed you the comparison. Can you tell? You can't really tell there, but it's whiter. I mean, you saw in the comparison, it's a bit whiter. And yeah, sorry, I was just testing to see if that was actually 20-pound, but it is. Okay, so I use it mainly for these dashboards, and I like it because it is thick, like thicker, but it's not like super thick. It's not like cloth and paper dashboard thick, right? So for example, like here's a cloth and paper dashboard, and like this is thick, like it's like a divider thick, right? So I don't want to add too much bulk, so I like to use the 32 pounds for dashboards, and it does look different and it feels sturdier and more quality than the regular copy paper, which I like because, like, a dashboard is decorative. It's supposed to add a little bit of, I don't know what, to your planner, so I like that. Okay, So that's a 32 pound. The next one is the Vellum. And this you'll see is the Vellum. And I use a lot. I love Vellum. I love it. And you know what, guys? I need to show you guys, remind me in the comments if I do not down below, is how to combine your dashboards. So like when you get dashboards, you know how it's like usually just like for personal size, like when somebody creates a dashboard, it's like the one dashboard on the paper, and then like you waste, if you just print it like that, like you waste a full sheet of vellum on one insert when you could have printed two, right? Like for whatever size, like for pocket you could print 4, for personal you could print 2. You waste like so much paper, right? So I need to show you guys how I do it so that I always at least print 2 on like personal size, for example, so I'm not wasting this, like, it's expensive, right? Expensive paper. So this is what that looks like, and it just kind of see-through. One thing you do have to be careful with vellum is, for example, this one, it's smudged a little bit. So if you have a laser printer, then you don't have that issue. For inkjet papers, it can smudge. So just be careful there. But I really love vellum, and I have it throughout my planner because it just looks nice. Okay, then the next one is acetate, and this one's not actually the one I showed you. This is just like an acetate from Filofax. Actually, it's the same concept, but it's just like this clear thing. You can print on it. Instead, what I prefer to use it for now is really just to like, I just have the one in here just to put some sticky notes on it, and I call it a day. The Filofax one, I think because it's a bit thicker, it doesn't like stick down to paper as much. But what it might be good for is if you actually want to protect a piece of paper and you do want it to be stuck together, then you can print on that overhead and it'll kind of like stick to your next sheet. So if you were to use it, you know, on a section cover or something and it's stuck on, then it kind of protects it and acts like a cover for that section. Does that make sense? So that's how I might use that. And then here's an example of the cardstock. So this is that set that I had got from Michaels. Hopefully I can find it for you so I think I got it from Michaels. I'll check and link it down below. But yeah, so it just adds a bit of neutral color to this, and I love it. How pretty is that, right? This is from Arlen Collection, a freebie from her site. Yeah, so that's the different types of paper. And then just the last thing is that Hobonichi paper, since I didn't really show you before, but it's, you know, this is just from the Hobonichi Weeks, but the Tomoe River paper is very thin, very crinkly. Love it in a notebook. I do not like it in here. It's too thin. I don't have an example because it's just too thin. If you use it in a way that like you don't cut your like slits and you just keep it, it's not too bad. But I just find, I don't know, with ring planners, like it gets crinkly really easily. I don't know, because it does get crinkly in your notebook too, but I don't know what it is about ring planners. I haven't loved it all the times that I've tried it. So yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, please consider subscribing and liking and commenting down below what else you would like to see. Make sure you hit that notification bell. I really need to do that tip on the printing multiple inserts onto one page. I'll need to do that video for you. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see that so I can remember to do it. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.